Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first ever episode of Not Your Cliché Conversations with Tarini Padmanabhuni. For an intro, I am Tarini Padmanabhuni. I am the host for this episode and all the episodes henceforth. And what I aim to do with this channel is talk to influential and successful people in their respective fields about their journey, about tips, tricks, and tutorials as to how they reach there to help the larger student community. That being said, let me start off by giving a small brief intro about our guest today, Himanshu Rajpurohit. Himanshu is a serial entrepreneur, a school dropout who has turned into Asia's youngest millionaire and Asia's youngest VC funded entrepreneur. Not my words, his words, and watch him prove it right to you. That being said, Himanshu is truly an inspiration. At the sheer age of 18, he has not only built four startups, he has he has made two of them get acquired and is continuously working on his current startup as the founder and CEO of Strangify. We need to talk about guests like this. We need to know the stories of people like this, which is purely the reason why I got such people on the show. And I think Himanshu is a great addition to this series and a great start to such a wonderful series. That being said, let me call him onto the stage. Hello, Himanshu. How are you doing?
Hi, Tarini. I'm doing absolutely fine and absolute honor to be on stage sharing and like sort of talking about my journey and insights with you.
Great, great. I mean, the honor is likewise, and I think all of our viewers today will be so excited to be tuned in today and ask you any questions that they have. Let's start off with an intro about yourself from your own words, Himanshu. So, anything you'd like to say to the audience to introduce yourself to everyone?
Absolutely, sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Himanshu Rajpurohit. I'm the founder of Strangify and a serial entrepreneur. More than an entrepreneur, I can say lifelong learner and executor who tries to learn things with things around us and try to execute them, finding a problem statement and trying to solve it for me as well as people around me. I started my journey of entrepreneurship at the age of 13 and have been building companies since then. So it's all about sort of learning and relearning and executing. That's all the journey is all about, and that's pretty much it. It is a great journey, I feel, and getting recognized by stages like this and getting the opportunity to share our insights is even a plus point for entrepreneurs like us.
Absolutely. And I think I echo all of it. That's a brilliant thing that you have done to the student community in general because it is very hard to find young people who are achieving great things. And when you do, you look up to them as inspiration and you know that it is possible. So, if anything, your story is an inspiration to million others. That being said, could you start by sharing your story behind your decision to become an entrepreneur at such a young age? You started at 13. So, when people are doing their normal school studies and stuff like that, you went ahead and decided, ki, you know what, I have to start something cool. I want to make a startup. And you went ahead with that. And you did a very great job at that as well. So, could you share a little bit about what was your reasoning behind starting a startup?
Absolutely, sure. So first and foremost, I'm Marwadi, so business was something that is everywhere around us. But Jeff Bezos has this very good quote that he often mentions that you don't choose your passion chooses you. And something similar happened to me. So at the end, I was a 13-year-old ninth grader worrying about my physics and maths marks because physics was the first time we were introduced to in our ninth class. But our school's director was like a charter member in a very big entrepreneurial organization called as TAI Rajasthan. TAI is one of world's biggest
I
entrepreneurship
guess.
organizations. Yes. So, and they had this competition where they wanted young students to sort of think about an idea, try to execute it, and have a competition around that is called as the Young Entrepreneurs, TYE. And that's when he randomly selected me. I don't know why he did select me, along with four other people, just to sort of start a company out.
All
And
right.
I thought, like 25,000 is the winning amount, 5,000 रुपए मिलेंगे, like why not just sort of try that out, right? We just went that idea, the kind of recognition I got. I was a nerd, introverted, not a very social or best out of the box kind of a person. But entrepreneurship gave me that chance to stand out It was the one that made me stand in front of that complete school, getting that achievement award or whatsoever was it. So that was really motivating, that it helped me stand out. I was learning a lot. And we were in newspapers, we were giving in TV interviews, we were giving radio jockey interviews, and we even like sort of getting the recognition was really sort of a good motivation for me. And then that idea turned into a product into a proper like a revenue generating kind of a pilots we did. And that's when I realized that people are getting impacted as well. And that's where I thought that by that time I feel I had that entrepreneurial bug within me, that करना है तो यही करना है. And वहाँ से एक journey शुरू हुआ. I guess the approach has been very simple earlier. I really wanted to make a lot of money. I want to get the tag or ये tag achieve करना है, ये करना है, and all that. But I feel as soon as I started achieving those or I started making a lot of money out of it, what sort of money was it? I felt that the impact portion of the motive of creating an impact increased. The motive of earning money based constantly. I feel money is definitely important, but for me, impact creation is simultaneously as important as well. So that has been simple. I mean, the company's core has been very simple. That सब्र कर सही होगा जो तू चाहेगा वही होगा मंजिल मिलेगी भटक कर ही सही गुमराह तो वो है जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. And that approach of patience and perseverance is what I always had, and that's what as a core I've been trying to build a company out of as well.
All right, that's great to hear. And I think I also echo a lot of that impact creation over anything else. And I think that's what's driving you as well behind all of your startups so far. Uh, it's great to know that that's what essentially led you to take this up seriously and pursue this so seriously. That being said, starting off as a youngster is still not an easy job, and you've done it since you were 13. You're now 18, so 5 years. You've just been building companies and selling them like it's nothing, like it's a piece of cake. So honestly, that takes a lot of effort and a lot of navigate this world of entrepreneurship on your own. So, what were the avenues that you took up or you went through to get to this stage that you are at right now? Where did you get guidance from? Did you have any mentors? How did you approach them? For any budding entrepreneurs who want to take a leaf out of your book, what would you
Uh,
suggest?
I feel nothing is easy in this world, and no one is lucky in this world as well. Ritesh Agarwal from Oyo quotes this in a very beautiful way, that the harder you work, the luckier you get. So it's all about sort of that constant focus on execution. But yes, the starting young is even harder, and especially that young of being at the age of 14, 15, or 16, it's much harder. The reason behind that is that people appreciate you a lot, but they don't trust in you. If I go to a person कि सर ये काम कर रहा हूँ मैं and this and that, अरे बहुत अच्छा बेटा बड़ा अच्छा काम कर रहे हो this and ये सब करते रहो and all that. But जिस टाइम मैंने उससे बोला कि सर आपसे ये हेल्प चाहिए, हाँ बेटा देखेंगे बाद में देखेंगे, right? So appreciation is a lot, but that trust is not there a lot. So it's very hard to do that. Secondly, we as people will always have this issue in young age, that we don't have that motivation around us, that we don't have that key leader ki I can see him ki isne kiya to I
Yeah,
can also do it all that, right? And
yeah,
like everyone is thinking more about the relationships, their exams, and what subjects to choose in 11th, what college to go in, so that you don't find that ideal sort of a motivation figure at that particular time, right? So what I realized was that if I don't have that kind of a physical environment around me, why don't I go and try to create a virtual environment around me? I
hmm,
read a lot of, as you can see, there is like books all around me, and
yeah,
like I just try to read books of people who have made it. I try to listen to podcasts of people who have made it. I try to sort of research about the people who have made it, how they have made it, and that kind of built a virtual environment. Like in that case, I can say that I was friends with Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, because I was reading, listening, and talking with them for the most of my time. That learning curve was really exponential at that particular time. I feel as founders, one thing which is really important is that you have to be a very, very good observant. Try to learn from things around you. There's an instance that I was very young and my English was pronunciation was not so good. Though I was in the best school of the city and all that, but pronunciation was not so good. We had this communication class and a session, you can say, in the auditorium, and everyone was sitting in the speaker asked something, and I motivated to answer. Just stood up and said, "Ki I this thing is very ugly instead of ugly," and the complete auditorium started laughing, and that really served as that motivation for me.
Factor.
Ki
Yeah.
you need to sorry, you need to work on your English. And then I started really observing how people say, what people say.
Okay.
Really sorry, when they take a break or whatsoever it is, and then it really improves. So you have to very good observe it. And secondly, and if you're young, if you don't have any other resources, be very harsh to yourself. Always have a very strong self-reflection loop. That if you did a mistake, there is no need ki others are only going to tell you you're wrong here. You have to reflect on your own deeds or actions, what you say, how you say, and reflect back upon them and improve from them. There is no need to regret, but there's a huge scope or there is a huge requirement for you to learn from it, right? So that should definitely be there. You should be very strong on your understanding of yourself. That's all. You be humble enough to accept your mistake, kind enough to sort of say a sorry, and smart enough to learn from them. That is the kind of approach we should have. And I feel be a big fan of execution. करते जाओ कुछ ना कुछ रास्ता निकल जाएगा. Every founder will figure out a way. Just keep executing. That's all.
Absolutely. And a little context to what I'm about to say right now. But Himanshu, as of what I've noticed, is a very humble and down to earth person. So, in fact, when we were on a call before this to talk about this podcast, we were actually talking about what to discuss and stuff like that, just to know a little bit of a list of his achievements. And I obviously went and praised him, and he, without a second, even just distracted the topic to something else. So if anything, that just shows that the kind of humility that you need even after achieving a lot of things is quite important, and is a very good mindset to have. So that's something that I took from you, Himanshu. So I wanted to share that with you. But that being said, I think you explained it very well, that even by reading the books of people like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, whoever it is, you have almost understood their mindset. You have taken a leaf from their books and you've applied it into your own story, almost as though they are your real life mentors in real life, conversing with you. And I think that's a great resource in itself. So I hope a lot of our viewers can take from that. uh, that being
Absolutely.
said, uh, what are some specific moments or experiences that you consider pivotal in shaping your entrepreneurial journey? Like you mentioned, you started off with your principal approaching you for the entrepreneurial competition. Anything like that that you think shaped your journey and exponentially increased your level of success in entrepreneurial journey?
Absolutely. I feel one thing which is really important for you, not just as an entrepreneur, but overall as a human being, is to have people who can show you a very, very clear mirror of where you are standing, आपकी औकात क्या है. And I feel I am lucky enough कि मुझे मेरी औकात दिखाने वाले बहुत लोग मिले मेरी journey में. For example, school's director who sort of introduced me to entrepreneurship. When I wanted to sort of pursue my career full time, key, I really want to just focus on it and try to build a company. I went to him, and
Hmm.
he showed a very clear mirror that
Hmm.
listen, if you get into this, and if
Hmm.
you sort of take that leap of faith, leaving education and going into there's no looking back. It's like it's
Yeah.
gonna be a risk,
Yeah.
and only take that risk if you can really believe that you can make something out of it. And that risk
Yeah.
obviously was very, very big. Obviously, I was also at a very different kind of a stage when taking that leap of faith. But that paid off. So I feel you are the only person who are liable to your own risk. So be accountable. I feel I learned that from it. And I feel like a lot of things which I quote, let's say like the quotes which I say or the poetry, like the poems which I say, have been really sort of being taken out from people which I really follow. So एक ये जो patience है, I was a very hyper kind of a person. ये करना है वो करना है इधर फटाफट झटपट ये कर दिया वो कर दिया this and that. I was like very hyper. But I feel like these lessons of being patient and perseverance were the two things which I sort of learned from COVID. In COVID, I really had like in the initial phase, what I really used to do was just spend a lot of time with myself, doing self
Yeah.
reflections, and that
Yeah.
really helped me. Even until like nowadays, honestly, I don't get a lot of time. But earlier, I used to in night around 11, 12, 12:30. What's the time it was? I used to just take my cup of milk, coffee, water, whatsoever was it, and just sit
Yeah.
in the balcony 15, 20, 30 minutes, reflecting back upon the day. And these self-reflections really made me. I was a very bad public speaker, very bad public speaker. I was not. I liked going to it, but I knew that I am not good with it, right? So I used to sort of self-talk a lot. And though I was a introvert, highly introverted kind of a guy as well, so I feel that self-talks helped me improve. So I feel external factors of getting to meet people who have
Mm.
made it, learning from them, and then sort of having that self-reflection book, and then backed by reading really kind of formed me as an individual. The
Mm.
entrepreneurship has taught me a lot. Today, I practically don't have a degree, but I still get a lot of job offers all around. I feel
Yeah.
that really has happened because of entrepreneurship. And you say ki humbleness, so the universe is like we can't even calculate how big it is. In that there is a small solar system. In that there is a small thing called as Earth. In that there are like 800 crore dimensions, out of which we are one. So I really don't feel so that we have done something so extraordinary that we can really sort of flaunt it up. So I feel like not showing wealth or something like that is something that is very strong in our Indian community. That our upbringing has been so that there is always focus on value creation for us and others, while not like sort of reflecting back upon it. Right?
Yeah. Agreed. I think that was very well put, and you explained it really well. And uh, the kind of points that you stated about being patient and being self-reflective, that is something a lot of people can learn from in today's day and age. Yeah, that being said, I want to actually take something out of my personal book of stories. So I am currently in college. I study in MIT Manipal, and I am pursuing my engineering. And a lot of times, people tend to get very tied up in too many things in the effort of trying to achieve something, get overstressed, and at some point, that all leads to a breakdown. I'm not sure if you have faced it, but this is something that I have seen a lot in students, especially college going students. And in my community, it is very prevalent in a lot of my friends and people that I work with. So, as someone who is an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur at that, uh, how exactly do you deal with potential stresses or a lot of things coming your way? Because I'm sure there is a lot of stuff that can come to affect you at a certain stage. So, how do you deal with that, personally speaking, and any tips that you have for people to deal with such situations?
Absolutely. Obviously, the journey of college students is very overwhelming. Like you have your studies going on, you have internships, side hustles, projects. What you have these communities, that drama community and badminton community and all that. So it's obviously like a very fulfilling journey. But I think first and foremost thing is prioritizing your time. And secondly, one thing which you should really focus on is giving time to yourself. I know it's like very hard to take the time out, but it is definitely important to give time to yourself because at the end, like if you're gonna work, let's say back to back 18 hours, 20 hours, not taking enough sleep and all that, you can work for a small time. But if you have to work for a sustainable long term, you have to manage things out. I was like that. I was like, I can sleep at 4, wake up at 8, back to work and this and that. But eventually, I realized that health is a really important priority as well. And if you I haven't seen any big founder unicorn founder unfit. If you see the billionaires of the world, the richest folks, most of
Yeah.
them are fit. So health has to be a priority, because if you there is no mean or sense of having a lot of wealth without with no health particularly. Balancing the things out in the right way is really important. Give time to your health, and meditation, yoga, increase your focus. There is like a lot more to world than Instagram reels, which I feel I will not say many. I am also like part of that trap, but obviously we should sort of come out of that.
Absolutely. These are things that you often hear, but when you hear it from someone who has actually like used it in their life, it makes a lot more impact. So, thank you for sharing that. That being said, let us go on to your next question, which is when you were in school, which is somewhat related to what my previous question was, but it's slightly, in a different direction. So, how
Okay.
exactly did you balance your academic responsibilities with your entrepreneurial pursuits? I'm assuming you became a full time entrepreneur at the age of, uh, at around like 15, if I'm not wrong, or was it earlier? I'm so sorry.
15, say 15,
15, yeah,
15,
right.
15 and a
So,
half, something like
all right. So at that stature, at that stage, I'm sure there must have been a huge kind of dilemma, firstly, between your academic pursuits and your entrepreneurial journey. And right before that, how exactly were you managing your academics, if you were? If you weren't, of course, that's a different story, and you can share that as well. But
that.
let's say the case that you were or you weren't. Share your
Sure.
story.
First, so basically, I hadn't a dilemma because COVID came into the picture, right? So I had so COVID was my dilemma remover. So I had it, and in fact, so after after 10th, I didn't have to go to school. But I did give after COVID 2 years. COVID lasted, so I never went to school. But my mom wanted that my son should be at least a 12 pass, so I
Mhm.
did give my votes with watching these one shots before the exams, and I was able to score 80%. So I was a bright student in school, I can say.
Same.
But yeah, so like it was hard. The journey of entrepreneurship is lonely, and as I was a very introverted nerd kid, I never had someone who I can call a best friend, and that is the reason why I had never had someone who I can share all the things with without having that fear of judgment or anything like that. And I have been very close to my parents. Like either no, like they are the only one who knows the most about me. Like there is no one else who knows more than me, like about me than them. So the journey I told you, I was that sense of relatability was not there. I was not able to be close friends with people of my age. But I like for me it was very simple: school and work. There was at that time I sacrificed my health, unfortunately. I was like no outdoor sports, nothing. I was just either sitting in my room working or I'm just going to school. So like obviously कुछ it's like कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना भी पड़ता है. Like मैंने अपना social life या फिर एक बाहर जाना that I completely started. I was just working or either I was just studying. So it was hard, but I feel it was overall worth it now. I feel balancing, prioritizing, and sort of having that right approach of having that clear why. I feel this is something which I feel was in my favor, but I had a very clear why from beginning. So like even this one, the investors who have put money in us, they said this thing that like while having a referral program that this guy, the company, we don't know how it's gonna go, but this one thing is important, this guy is not gonna give up. So I feel having a very clear why of why you want to do the certain thing really helps you grow in the longer run. So I feel that patience and perseverance वाला thing एक जो है शुरू से that I feel has really helped me in navigating my journey of entrepreneurship.
All right, great, great. So let's transition to the next question now. Uh, Coming to the same line of what your VCs have also told you, okay, this guy will bounce back, this guy will do it. On that same note, could you share with our audience any setback or failure that you experienced during your early entrepreneurial years or even now that you've bounced back with, and you're very happy about that whole process right now because you've bounced back from it?
I feel failure is what we as founders see much more than successes. Every day, 5 10 failures. So I feel failures are like a constant part of an entrepreneurial journey. Like when we started Strangify, the monetization plan was very different. Like there was this guy we hired. He said ki within like our tech failed. Some people like sort of left us. Some people didn't believe in us. Our product failed. कई बार like कुछ product पसंद नहीं आया लोगों को. I feel failure is just kind of that something that helps you gain the experience to execute things in a much better fashion, right? So उस चीज से काफी learning है. Failures happens every day. I failed as a founder maybe when I took a wrong decision, but it should not be like मैंने failure को complete failure मान के company बंद कर दी. It's just like I just learned from those failures and tried to work on them. There is this thing that one guy was who we sort of took a feedback from. I don't know why he in night, I guess he was drunk or something. He messaged us that your company is gonna fail and एक साल बाद that 3 Idiot movie वाला जो नहीं था कि वो दीवार पे लिख के जाता है ऐसा
Oh,
कुछ कि screenshot this message, your company is not gonna work and this and that. And I was also young, so it kind of broke me थोड़ा सा. बट एक साल बाद मुझे वो तारीख याद थी. उस दिन मैंने फिर उसको ऑफिस अपडेट भेजा कंपनी का. So I feel it's all about sort of learning and not getting demotivated from people's perspectives. My father says this thing कि सुनो सबकी करो मन की. So
hmm,
obviously take feedbacks, but do the best as you feel is gonna be the right approach for it. Yeah.
absolutely. Uh, that was well put. I think let's move on to a slightly, lightweight question, but still very, something you can learn from. What are 5 things you do every day on a daily basis? They are part of your routine. Apart from, like, don't say brushing, bathing and stuff. Apart from,
Yes. One first thing is like our team meetings. Every single day, I'm sitting with my team, taking updates because it kind of keeps. I set goals for myself as well as they set goals for themselves. So it works as a motivation for us. कि अगले दिन team meeting में we have to show the work, and so that's why. Second is this daily diary. We sort of set targets for the next day and try to improve on that. Health, any kind of exercise or something which I have been sort of consistently sort of doing. Fourth, okay, next two are gonna be tough. Yes, customer feedback every single day. Every single day we sort of talk to different customers. And fifth is gonna be reading a book. Yeah, maybe a single page if I'm not getting time, but a single page it's gonna be there. Say
all right.
right now I am
Yeah.
reading this book.
Okay. Okay, great. Barack Obama, okay, is it his autobiography?
Yes, Dreams from My Father. So yeah.
All right, great. So I was actually that answered my next question to some extent. What are 5 top books that you've ever read that helped
Perfect.
you a lot?
Five top books, right? Top one is gonna be this book. This is the god of startups, I can say. Naval Ravikant's book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It is gonna be the best book I have read in my journey. Second is gonna be Zero to One by Peter Thiel, the investor of Facebook, founder of PayPal, and third is gonna be Atomic Habits. It
Hmm.
really teaches you sort of read it. It really teaches you the value of small actions that really lead to much bigger results, particularly. Fourth is gonna be the power of your subconscious mind,
Yes.
and the fifth is gonna be autobiography of a yogi. I feel like because last two, subconscious mind and autobiography of yogi, really makes you believe that if you sort of have a very strong will and dedication, you can literally do anything that exists on this planet, right? So books, I feel a lot of people just read the book, don't read the book. I feel it's not just about going through words, but really sort of understanding it and taking learnings out of it. If you read a book, you should take something out. It should not be like just for the sake of reading a book, you are reading it. So I feel these are the five top books in my approach towards reading. Any book which I read, I just sort of try to find out at least there should be five things which I'm taking out from it particularly.
All right, great. So I think those were some nice suggestions. And I have read a little bit of some of those books, but after this, I'm going to definitely read all of them. But great suggestions. And that kind of brings me to my next question, which is uh, as students, particularly, or as youngsters, whatever it may be, what
Mhm.
are some avenues to earn money? So before this podcast, like I asked people around, okay, like what questions would you like to get answered from Himanshu? And a lot of them wanted to know from you, what are some ways which through which I as a student can earn money, either through entrepreneurship or whatever else it may be, based off of your experience or whatever you have seen in this world.
Mhm.
What would be a few suggestions?
Sure. I just for having a like a side earning something like that. Yes, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I feel that today this world has opened so much. There are a lot of avenues out there. One thing which can definitely be there for college student is going to be freelancing. Any kind of skill they have today, we can monetize on all our skills. If someone knows how to sing, dance, they can teach that online. If someone knows how to sort of as a good UI UX designer, they can use that for freelancing work. Technically, if someone is a good developer, they can go to up for freelancer and earn really good money out of it. But startups in overall, it's like a very different game altogether. Otherwise, so startup is gonna take a lot more commitments, time, and like money. As like it is gonna take a lot more efforts. And I feel freelancing is a really good avenue, which a lot of people are making money out of it. Just
Right.
sort of monetizing on skills has become much more easier. So the world is much more accessible than any time in the history.
Absolutely. That brings me to my next question. So, according to you, what are some most important skills or in demand skills of today's generation or today's day and age?
Uh, Freelancing, I'm not gonna be too sure about. I feel tech is something which is really people are making a lot of money out of it. UI UX product designing, but overall product management has
Hmm.
a really big scope. AI developers have a really big future out there. And other than that, marketing or creative people, I
Hmm.
see a lot of jobs coming out in the form of like people who can think out of the box because marketing has become a very important thing. The companies are increasing their budgets, and
Hmm.
specifically the attention span of people is reducing constantly. So if you are creative enough to hook people up for a certain duration of time, then obviously creative field is something which can someone can definitely consider as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think I have one question for you, which a lot of people also wanted to know about. So basically, you have been given many titles, and all of them are completely worthy of it. You are completely worthy of. One of them is, of course, the very honorable title of Asia's youngest millionaire and Asia's youngest VC funded entrepreneur. So, could you shed some light on these titles that you have?
I feel titles are good enough or should be used enough only for marketing perspectives. It should not go over your head. Yeah, but I feel I was 17 when I uh, raised my first round of funding. I was 17 or I just turned 18, something like that was the time when I just sort of raised my first round of funding and in Asia specifically, like I was one of the youngest person to raise venture capital, as well as the company's valuation was in a few $1 million, and me being a majority stakeholder of my company, so it did make me so. But yes, that's pretty much it. I really don't have anything to sort of give give a very detailed intro on that. But
All
yeah,
right.
I
No.
feel it really mattered until we sort of saw that I just really want to be raise venture capital and all that. But it actually is a responsibility that people are betting on you. They have their given so hard and money to give. So it's your responsibility on your shoulders to give them the maximum impact and returns as much as you can.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well said. That being said, what are some ways for youngsters to learn the world of business or finance? Because I'm sure you were very young when you started, the world of entrepreneurship. You ventured into this world, but what were your resources that you used to learn business, to learn the basics of entrepreneurship or even business? I mean, you come from a Marwadi family, so you have mentioned that already, Ki, that was a great asset for you. But any other thing, any few tips or something like that you would like to give people who want to venture into this world as a youngster?
Trust me on this. Today, the complete knowledge that exists is available on YouTube and Google. It's like literally a click away. Like when I start, obviously, मैं like जब मैंने शुरू किया, I didn't know all the terms. I didn't know what MBP is. I didn't know what PNL is. I didn't know what EBITDA is. I didn't know what all these different terms were, and I had to learn them. And today, YouTube has so many resources, so many successful founders, and so many different content creators have given out content that you can actually learn A to Z each and every detail of that. आपको like आपको दुनिया का सारा नॉलेज मिल जाएगा यूट्यूब पे. You just really need someone who can actually just go and learn from it. And that's why I can say that to like all the basics about startups, obviously I learned from YouTube. But eventually as आप जब एक जर्नी में आते हो entrepreneurship की, आप इतने हजारों लोगों से डेली बेसिस पे मिलते हो, then you just sort of keep learning more and more and get more and more lessons out of it.
Great. So, any YouTube channel you want to give a shout out to, or is it just all of YouTube?
Like for example, if you need to know the terms about startups, Ankul Badiku, he gave us a grant in the Masters Union CEO Challenge, so he's been mentor for us as well. He
Okay.
he has this video of startup terms. He has this video of VC. There is the founder of WhiteHatJr, Karan Bajaj. He has created a lot of content. Y Combinator, which is considered as the, so there's a very famous quote that if you don't know what Y Combinator is, you haven't entered the world of startups yet. So Y Combinator's YouTube channel has so much content. Gravik, the CEO of Y Combinator, or Sam Altman, all these people have posted so much content that you can literally learn the world from it. Every big like sort of events that happen in this world, सबके videos YouTube पे available होते हैं. Just go and learn. I feel you just need to search key. I just need to learn SEO classes, Facebook ads classes, Google ads classes. बहुत सारी चीजें मैंने जर्नी में गूगल से सीखी थी. So I feel YouTube, Google are God today. Just go and learn from them.
Okay, great. Um, so you have been doing entrepreneurship for 5 years now. You've had 4 companies. Uh, let's get into a little bit about your companies now and your startups. So, what have each of your companies taught you, and what have each of your companies dealt with? First of all, you can briefly introduce all of your startups that you have done so far, and then we'll finally get to Strangify in particular. You can
Sure.
start off with in terms of
Um,
knowledge, anything.
sure. But I guess I will just start off with BookABuddy. It was my first company that was started for tag. So
When
it
you
was
were
a very
yeah.
five co-founders, and BookABuddy was a company based on providing assistance to elderly and physically challenged people. In the sense, they need to go to hospital, bank, or something like that. They can book a person who will pick them up, make them do their work, and drop them back, and they will have to pay on an hourly basis. While particularly talking about next company SLSA, it was more around supply chain side. Isati was around tech for like some consult export kind of a tech assistance, and then we had export import kind of aspect as well, handicraft fall apart. So I feel these businesses have been into multiple domains, but tech has played a role to create more efficiency around it. We very strongly worked around empowerment of women in Sathi as well constantly. While now we are working on Strangify, which is a leading B2B venture around mental health. Yeah.
All right, great. So when you were 13 and when you were with five co-founders and you guys started this BookABuddy together, uh, would you say that technical aspect of it, whether be it in making the app or whatever, uh, that helped a lot? Like, did you guys start that on your own, or did you outsource that technical
Hmm.
aspect of it, maybe in terms of building
I
the apps?
absolutely outsourced it. I didn't even knew that what Flutter is, what React is. So it was outsourced. In fact, I feel that was it just really worked as that whiteboard for us.
Hmm.
We were just trying different markers, different colors, and मतलब थे तो 9th क्लास के बच्चे ही at the end of the day, right? So I feel that whiteboard पे जो practice हुआ उससे फिर writing improve हुई, drawing improve हुई, and then उस learning को eventually हमने आगे जाके जर्नी में एग्जीक्यूट किया.
Okay, so are you now aware with Flutter and web development?
Yes, so basically I have overall like I have a really good understanding now. I understand languages, the development aspect. I can't sit and find a bug totally, but I do have a really good knowledge about all the technical languages and that kind of front end
Right.
whatsoever.
Great. So you would suggest having some amount of technical knowledge as well if you were to
Yes.
venture
So
into
there,
it.
like in general, what it is considered the best is I fortunately got lucky to have a right technical team who really had a good experience. Otherwise, it is always suggested to have two complementing founders. Like one is good with business, sales, operations. The other one is good with tech. Then they can
Yeah.
create a right match and build a good product. So yeah, I feel every company, either through co-founders or either through people, should have the right mix of all the factors out there.
All right. So in your journey so far, who has been your technical co-founder or
I think my team, I got lucky with the people I had. So the people
great.
who are working with us have been really good and years of experience. So I feel I bought leaders in the journey who have really helped us with the tech. So I got lucky with balancing everything out.
All right. Great. Great. That's amazing to hear. Let's get into a little more about any advice for student entrepreneurs for in terms of cohorts or any types of guidance summits or mentorship summits. What would you suggest for, let's say, a student entrepreneur that is currently already having a company, a baseline, has a prototype ready, let's say, of a product? uh,
Mhm.
what would you, as of your observance of this world of entrepreneurship, give as a good place for such people to try out for, cohorts or anything like that?
There are a lot of accelerators and opportunities available for all the startups out there, like Y Combinator, Techstars, Global Startups 500, and then we have Antler, then we have Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, then we have Startup India. So then there is this Leap Ahead by STPI, which even I am part of. There are a lot of accelerators and opportunities that are coming out for a lot of startups, which really helps you build things from scratch and learn from them and just be sort of focus on this thing and apply for accelerators that are really genuine and can really help you grow from in a
Hmm.
business.
All right.
Like don't go to just every random accelerator. Then we have GSF accelerator in India as well. So
Hmm.
I have heard a bit about them as well. So there are a lot of accelerators out there. You just need to just sort of search for it a bit and you will find a good one.
All right. Okay. Great. I think we are slowly heading towards the end of our podcast. So
Mhm.
let's begin by talking more about Strangify, which is the venture that you run currently as the CEO and
Mhm.
founder. So, would you like
Mhm.
to share about what Strangify is, what it does, and what you guys are aiming to change in this world?
Sure. So Strangify is a B2B mental health company focused on India as well as global markets. The main service which Strangify offers is called as like venting out, which gives users a safe and anonymous space to vent out things, have deep conversations, and share problems with individuals who have faced similar issues in the past. along with all of the services like counseling, consulting, psychometric test, yoga, meditation. And we have a AI aspect as well. We are developing a one of a kind AI audio call, video call, and text based conversational bot as well. So it's more around B2B mental health. We work on a subscription based model, and the impact which we are trying to create is just to create a happier and more satisfied world out there where people can actually be a bit more calmer, peaceful, and satisfied with the world. Yeah, that's what we are just trying to do.
That's a great aim. And I think mental health is such a serious discussion now for so many people. So it's a great
Yeah.
initiative that you guys have taken with Strangify. Uh, that being said, let us move on to probably the last section of this podcast, which is what I usually like to call the tips, tricks, and tutorials. Although it's not exactly that, it's just I'd like 5 suggestions from you to myself and the audience uh, for excelling in personal and professional lives. Personally, in the sense in terms of health, wealth, and fitness and whatnot, and professionally in terms of scaling your company. So all of it combined together, I just want 5 advices. So 5 tips.
Uh, I feel first and foremost is gonna be don't give up. If you just keep doing things, don't give up too easily. If you just keep doing, you will find or figure a way out eventually. Second is gonna be read a lot of books. I feel replace phones, Instagram reels with books. Until you are a content creator where you need an inspiration, that's obviously an exception. And after that, a third thing would be obviously sort of staying disciplined, be consistent with your efforts. Fourth is gonna be try to learn from people. Fifth is gonna be open minded, try to sort of learn as much as you can, and don't be too egoistic on things. Just sort of be shameless in selling and learning. That's what I have learned. And thank you so much, Tarini, for inviting me to the podcast. It was like such a great experience to be on this podcast, and I feel today also I've again got the opportunity to self reflect on my own things, and I'm going like back with a lot of learnings myself as well. Keep growing, and everyone who is watching this channel out there, Tarini's channel, please go like, subscribe, and comment your views more. I would be active on comments and try to answer people if I can for sure.
Sure, that is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for joining us, Himanshu.
Thank you
Uh,
so much, Tarini.
and on that note, I think we will end this podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Like Himanshu mentioned, you can put in any questions you have in the comments, and I will be putting Himanshu's socials on the description as well. So you can feel free to follow him and me. I will be sharing both of our socials. That being said, do check out Strangify and to get more such podcasts, to get access to more such great individuals and their life stories and lessons, please stay tuned to my channel. Thank you so much, Himanshu, for being a great guest and a
Thank you so
great starter for this series. Thank you so
much.
much.
All the best, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.